All right, this one is a twisted one. So bear with me because this story is long. And the deeper you go into it, the more disturbing it becomes. This is a story of a man who lived in plain sight for years, building a successful career as a real estate agent while secretly committing some of the most shocking crimes in South Carolina history. But this story didn't begin with police catching a killer. It began with a woman chained inside a shipping container, and her determination to survive would not only save her life, it would eventually solve a mass murder that had remained unsolved for more than 13 years. It's November 3rd, 2016. Deputies in Spartanburg County, South Carolina, arrived at a rural property outside the town of Woodruff. They were searching for a missing couple, Kayla Brown and her boyfriend, Charles David Carver. The couple had disappeared weeks earlier after going to the property to do some work. As investigators searched the land, something strange caught their attention. They heard banging. At first, it sounded faint, metallic, almost hollow. Then they realized the noise was coming from inside a large metal shipping container sitting on the property. When deputies opened the door, they found Kayla Brown alive.
Yes. Pull that one first. All right, let them get ready. Y'all ready? Come on, guys. Back. It's jammed in here. Give me that crowbar back. Where's that? Get that big crowbar in. Right here. Oh, John. Put it right here. Yeah, behind there you go. Watch out. Y'all move. I got it. Watch out, boss. Back up. Hey, Joey. Sheriff's officer. Sheriff's officer. What? Back up there. Just one. Are you okay? Grab what? Go. Do you have any weapons? Coming through, okay? What's your name? What's your name, man? Lauren. Okay. All right. Just a girl. Just a girl. How are you, honey? This is bolt cutters. This is our investigator. He's a paramedic. Oh yeah. Okay, we're gonna get you out of there. Okay. Just hang loose for me. Anybody got? I need a handcuff key. Handcuff key. I got it right here. Hold up. Y'all slide back. Hold on. He's got a light. We gotta let him take photographs. Randy, let me see your light, Randy. You can put your hands down, sweetheart. You're okay. We're here. Okay. Yes, sir. Just sit back for me. Light on or off? Get fine. We'll get the rest of it here. Let's get her out of here. We're getting bolt cutters, honey. Don't. You got pictures of the cuffs? No, hold on. Bolt cutters. Is both feet?
Just one.
Let me see.
It's attached to a chain on the wall, and my neck's attached to the wall up here.
Okay. All right, we're gonna get you out, sweetheart. Okay. You got a handcuff key. I got one's in my car. One's under my car. Gloves on when I did that, but no big deal. Bolt cutter. No big deal. Just hit the chain right there, loose. Hold it up. Yeah. Just right there at her hand, Brandon. We'll get it off. We'll get it off here. Cut it right here. Do you know where your buddy is?
Charlie?
Yes.
He shot him.
He shot him?
Who did?
Todd Kohlhepp shot Charlie Carver 3 times in the chest, wrapped him in a blue tarp, put him in the bucket of the tractor, locked me down here, and I never seen him again. Okay. He says he's dead and buried. He says there's several bodies dead and buried out here, and he says that the dogs will be ruined if they go looking because there's red pepper. We're going to step you out, sweet. Because there's what? Red pepper.
Okay. Tell the dog people that.
He says there's pepper everywhere around the car. The car's supposedly in a ravine under the land.
Okay.
Supposedly covered and painted.
John.
But chained to the wall by her neck and wrist. She had been held captive there for weeks. There was almost no light inside the container, very little food, and barely any air. Kayla had been completely at the mercy of the man who owned the property, a man named Todd Kohlhepp. And when officers rescued her, Kayla immediately told them something chilling. She said, "There are bodies buried on the property. Police hadn't randomly chosen that property. They were there because Kayla Brown and Charles Carver had been missing since August of 2016. That day, the couple had gone to the land to clear brush and do some work. Kayla had actually done cleaning jobs for Todd before, so nothing seemed unusual about the arrangement. But after arriving that day, they disappeared. Their families grew worried when calls and messages went unanswered. When something even stranger happened, messages began appearing on Charles Carver's Facebook account. The post claimed the couple had gotten married, bought a house, and wanted to be left alone. But their families knew something wasn't right. The tone of the messages didn't sound like Charles. Then family members visited the home where the couple had been staying. Their pets were still there. The animals had been fed. There was no water. It was clear they had left voluntarily. Investigators began tracking the couple's cell phone activity. The last known signal led them directly to property owned by a local real estate agent, Todd Kohlhepp. After being rescued, Kayla told investigators what happened the day they arrived to the property. She said that shortly after she and Charles began working, Todd suddenly pulled out a gun. Without warning, he shot Charles 3 times in the chest. Kayla said the argument started because Todd believed Charles had been disrespectful, saying he had a smart mouth. Charles died there on the property. Kayla was then forced into the shipping container and chained inside. For weeks, she was kept there. Todd repeatedly assaulted her and made it clear that her survival depended entirely on him. But he also tried to manipulate her. He told Kayla there was a way to survive. If she obeyed him, stayed calm, and did exactly what he said, he told her she might eventually be allowed to live more freely on the property. At one point, he even told her he planned to build a house there and that they could live there together. He explained the concept of Stockholm Syndrome to her, telling her that eventually she would grow comfortable with him and stop wanting to leave. Kayla later told investigators he tried to convince her they could have some kind of life together, but the reality was far darker. She was chained inside a metal container, and her fate depended entirely on his mood. Kayla said that sometimes Todd would leave the property for hours. Once he even went to a Dollar General store. Kayla asked him to bring her a coloring book and crayons, not because she needed them, but because she hoped someone might question why a grown man with no children was buying those things. Unfortunately, no one did. Still, Kayla survived. And because she survived, investigators are about to uncover the truth about Todd Kohlhepp. Now, as investigators searched the property, they discovered Charles Carver's body buried on the land. But that wasn't the only grave. Police soon found 2 more bodies buried nearby. Those victims were Johnny Joe Coxey and his wife, Megan Lee McCraw Coxey. The couple had disappeared in December of 2015. Johnny was 29 years old. Megan was 26. They had recently become parents just months before they vanished. Investigators later learned the couple had met Todd after he offered them work. He told them that they could help with jobs on the property, clearing land and doing work around the area. What seemed like an opportunity instead led them directly into danger. Now, authorities determined Megan had been killed by a gunshot wound to the head. Johnny had been shot multiple times in the torso. Their bodies were identified through dental records and distinctive tattoos. At that point, investigators realized they weren't dealing with a single murderer. They were dealing with a serial killer. And that's when Todd made a confession that stunned everyone. He admitted he was responsible for a mass murder that had happened 13 years earlier. The Superbike Motorsports murders.
Now it's just a plain building with no clear indication of its past. Then it was a business with a typical workday that came to a horrific halt.
It's hard. I mean, it's hard day to day sometimes to understand why it's gone on so long in such a small community.
Robin Olson's husband Brian Lucas and 3 others died here at Superbike Motorsports in Chesney on November 6, 2003. Someone shot them.
Spartanburg's a large county, but I mean, Chesney's a small town, and for something that horrific to happen and no one to say anything or notice this person is just not understandable.
Then we had this sketch. Now we have this one.
This is my man that I need to talk to.
The sheriff says this is the face of a man seen acting like a customer just before the murders.
The other composite was kind of boxy looking, but as I looked at this one, it was like, I can see this person.
Tom and Lorraine Lucas hope this new picture will shed light on who killed their son.
I feel very encouraged.
They say they believe the former sheriff's administration made mistakes like mixing up DNA, so they're thankful that Sheriff Chuck Wright's team
I was handed this package. It's gift wrapped like it's gift wrapped. I can only go with what I got.
is bringing them new hope.
It's not a cold case. People tend to call it a cold case, but there's a heck of a lot of hard work going on.
To understand that crime, we're going to have to rewind back to 2003. Scott Ponder was a passionate motorcycle enthusiast who opened a dealership called Superbike Motorsports in Chesney, South Carolina. The shop quickly became successful. Scott even used the internet to sell motorcycles, something that was still new at the time. Within the first year, the dealership had generated more than $1 million in sales. Scott's best friend, Brian Lucas, worked there as a service manager. Chris Sherbert worked as a mechanic. And Scott's mother, Beverly Guy, often spent time at the shop helping out. Beverly loved being there. She enjoyed supporting her son and being part of the business. And during that time, she had something else to look forward to. Scott's wife, Melissa, was pregnant. Beverly was excited about becoming a grandmother. Everything seemed to be going right in their lives. But on November 6, 2003, everything changed. That morning, a friend of the shop named Noel Lee stopped by. When he arrived, he noticed 2 men laying near the entrance, Scott Ponder and Brian Lucas. At first, Noel thought they were joking. He even nudged one of them with his foot and told them to get up. But to his surprise, they didn't move. And to the horror of everything, they had been shot. Noel ran inside to call 911. Inside, he discovered 2 more victims. Chris Sherbert was slumped over a motorcycle he had been working on, and Beverly Guy was laying near the bathroom. All 4 victims had been shot multiple times. Nothing had been stolen. An envelope of cash had been left sitting out in the open. The murders made no sense. For 13 years, investigators had no idea who committed the crime, until Todd confessed. Now, according to Todd, he had previously visited the shop as a customer. He had tried to return a motorcycle, but employees reportedly laughed at him and mocked him for not knowing how to ride properly. Todd claimed the humiliation stayed with him, and that's when he made the decision to return to the shop armed with a handgun. Todd shot Chris Sherbert first, then Beverly Guy, then Brian Lucas near the entrance, and finally Scott Ponder outside. 4 people murdered over what he claimed was humiliation, a crime that remained unsolved for more than a decade, until Kayla Brown survived long enough to expose him. What shocked many people even more was the life that Todd had built after prison, because the warning signs had existed long before the murders. Todd Kohlhepp was born in Florida in 1971. His parents divorced when he was young. Psychology reports described him as aggressive and troubled as a child. He showed cruelty towards animals and violent behavior towards other children. At just 15 years old, he kidnapped a 14-year-old girl at gunpoint. He tied her up, assaulted her, and threatened to kill her family if she told anyone. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison. A judge in the case warned that Kohlhepp was unlikely to change. But after serving 14 years, he was released in 2001. And instead of fading into the background, he built a life that looked successful. He became a licensed real estate agent. Eventually, he started his own company, a company that had multiple agents working under him. He owned property, lots of it, including the nearly 100 acres of rural land where police would later find Kayla Brown chained inside a shipping container. To the outside world, Todd appeared to be a successful businessman. But underneath that image, something far darker had been hiding for years. Now, after Kayla was rescued, investigators arrested Todd. During searches of the property, they found weapons, ammunition, and disturbing evidence. Eventually, Todd confessed to 7 murders. Scott Ponder, Brian Lucas, Chris Sherbert, Beverly Guy, Johnny Coxey, Megan Coxey, and Charles Carver. In 2017, Todd pleaded guilty to 7 counts of murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and other charges. He was sentenced to 7 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. Kayla Brown survived the unimaginable. After the ordeal, she received a multi-million-dollar civil judgment against Kohlhepp. She has since spoken publicly about survival and recovery. Her courage not only saved her life, it helped solve multiple murders. Melissa Ponder, Scott's widow, would later face another tragedy when her second husband, Chad Brackman, a sheriff's deputy, was killed in a traffic accident while working off duty. Despite unimaginable grief, she continues to honor Scott's memory and share her story. This case is a chilling reminder that sometimes the most dangerous people aren't hiding in the shadows. Sometimes they're living in plain sight, running businesses, selling houses, shaking hands with neighbors. And for years, Todd did exactly that, until one woman's determination to survive finally exposed the truth behind it all. I'm your host, Lisa, and this is CrimeTophia. And until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and take care.